Now, it's important you watch the videos for this week and especially yesterday where I talked about this particular liquidity here and this particular trap you had to talk about. And I mentioned as long as the 5-day is not crossing below the 20-day, you cannot be too bearish. And you see that happening time and time again. There will always be opportunities for you. And you see it happening again. And just take a look. It's penny perfect. Penny perfect. We grabbed that liquidity where the 5-day moving average was. You see this dip here? That was where 5-day moving average was exactly at that magenta algorithm. And that was after we closed the cup. Let me zoom in for you. Let me zoom it in. You see the top wick here. You see the top wick. We closed the cup, grabbing this liquidity, isn't it? And you had to look for microstructure in the 1-minute chart. And this was exactly the microstructure before the big news. They were soaking up all the sellers before the push up. And as I mentioned, even if you missed this trade, so be it. So be it. Right? If you had runners, if you had some protected swings, this is fine. You can catch it. Well done. You understand now. Even if you missed it, you need to understand technically how is that possible. Magenta algorithm, 5-day moving average, grabbing that liquidity, closing cup, microstructure on the handle 1 minute, and there you go. Right? You understand technically how it works. You understand the algorithms. You see for yourself how penny perfect they are, and you develop experience. You develop some sort of system that you can use next time. Now, thereafter, we broke out of that range. And we have now closed the larger cup here, and we are now waiting for that handle to start forming. Now let's talk about the handle, because the handle can take time to form. It will require the 5-day to start trending up, and it may take several days. Hopefully this happens so we can grab more liquidity on the way up. Now this will be an ideal scenario if we have some pullback, grab some liquidity back from this large candle and have 5 days start to trend up again before we start pushing up here. So just be more mindful, be careful of this particular liquidity that's starting to form. And once 5-day moving average starts to trend up, you will notice that there are certain liquidity here I want to pay attention to. Now, firstly, if this starts to go up, but we lack some continuation, you see how the blue algorithm is an absolutely beautiful liquidity that's being built at the top. So pay close attention to that, especially if we break out of the highs but lack some sort of buying continuation structure. Otherwise, if the market is kind, we get more retest here with the yellow algorithm, and we close intraday cups right there, and with 5-day already starting to catch up. If the 5-day crosses with this liquidity, that will be ideal, but if it doesn't, so be it. You wait for 5-day before you start shorting this, because what you want to be looking out for is whether the selling is controlled, because if the selling is controlled, the bulls are still in control. So you have to look out for certain tapering at the start first. Remember from 2 weeks ago, I talked about the dump, and you see how the dump can only happen with the blue algorithm. So you wait for the blue algorithm if the tapering is starting to form before it starts to dump. And if it continues to head down, wait for 5-day moving average. We would have closed cups here, and thereafter look for tapering on the blue algorithm before it starts heading down again. Several layers before you start taking trades that are bearish, but you have to pay close attention now to where the 5-day is going to land. If it starts to trend up, or the market will start to consolidate a little bit with sellers at the top of the range here. Now, if that happens, you will see controlled selling and a break of that controlled selling. So for example, you will see cases where the green was building liquidity and thereafter broke out of the green liquidity here. So you have to pay close attention. Maybe 5-day will be there, for example. So pay close attention to this every single day. I will explain a little bit more as the market moves, and especially in the Discord server. And I will provide live analysis every single day so you are prepared for what to expect during market hours. So please take this week, recalibrate. Let's prepare for September ahead. Thank you very much for watching. See you closer to opening bell.